Good evening and welcome to another episode on Disqualified Dads. Now, this is the first stream that I'm doing in the last, is it 2 or 3 weeks? Just been a little tied up with a few things and just thinking of some fresh ideas on where to take the channel and how to get more knowledge and valuable information out there for fathers generally, and generally information that can benefit all. Tonight's episode, I've got Sean Buchanan coming on again from Equal Starts. We're going to be discussing all the recent events, the Leeds riots leading up to the latest riots. I want to get Sean's opinion on what he thinks of it all, get his opinion on how we should perceive all of this and generally the madness of everything that's been going on. I'm trying to process it all myself. A lot of chaos. So some of us, unfortunately, we're not just fighting the family court system. We're not fighting the CMS. We're fighting the family court system. We're fighting the CMS. We are unfortunately in battle with our exes just to see our children. And ultimately, if you happen to be a brown or a black father, but in this case, predominantly a brown Muslim father, you're fighting best part of society as well by the looks of it. So unfortunately, it's not great news. And I've got a question for all the single moms out there, all the mothers who are denying access, to the children. When if this chaos turns up at your doorstep or on your street, and you refuse to have anything to do with the father, a father will ultimately jump in the line of fire to protect his children. A father, remember this. Do not assume every man or member in your family will jump in front to protect your children because they've got their own children to protect. Their priority first will be their children at the end of the day. That's the reality. So those mothers who feel empowered by defrauding the legal aid system, by defrauding the family court system, by playing the victim, by using the Islamophobia card, same thing. They use the Islamophobia card in the family court. Those mothers, those Muslim mothers who are doing that, playing that card, when unfortunately people look at you and you happen to be brown, of the South Asian community, or black, say, unfortunately, that is the nature of these riots, some of these riots that have taken place. Do you think the family court will come to protect you and your children at that point there? When society crumbles, people will ultimately, first and foremost, protect their own. You have shafted your children. You have removed the father out of the family home, number one. Like I said, your brothers and your fathers and uncles, their priorities will be their children first, their immediate family unit. So while you're playing Miss Independent, I'm Miss Victim, I don't need no man, I don't need my children's father in my life, and all of this, you're leaving yourself and your children vulnerable. So Wild says, at least during the chaos, ensure you open lines of communications with your exes. When I say your exes, with the father, with your baby daddies, open lines of communication with them. So if they need to turn up to your house to defend your children against any perpetrators, with all the chaos that is going on, do the smart thing, have him present. But I've got Sean coming on in a minute, just stand by. Yeah. Yeah, dial in, bro. I'm live now. I'm live, bro. We're on live now. Dial in. Dial into the link. You're not in, bro. Hey, I can't see you here, bro. You're not on the dashboard here. I'm gonna send you a link again. Come off and go again. I don't see you, yeah? I see you now. Stay there. I see you. Stay there. Apologies, people. That was Sean Buchanan. Before I bring him on, I just want to say quickly, like, subscribe, follow, and share. Follow the stream. And let's bring on Sean Buchanan. Sean, welcome back to
What's happening?
my dad. What is happening? You tell me, bro. What's going on?
Just coming from the gym, doing the physio on my leg.
Yeah, how is your
Mm.
leg, by the way? How are things with your leg?
To be fair, not too bad. I'm off the crutches now, so
That's a good
I
start.
just
So
have to
you
get the
can walk.
mobility back, the full range of movement with the extension and the flexion. Yeah, once I do that, then I'll be able to start jogging and running again.
Okay, fair enough.
What's
Fair
what's,
enough.
what's been what's been happening with you?
Don't know, bro. You tell me, man. It's just trying to survive, battle on, trying to continue to create awareness. Same old, battling
Did
different
you
demons
manage to get
every
the
day.
maintenance team? The
Manage who?
maintenance, the maintenance,
What about maintenance?
the
Say again?
maintenance, the maintenance. Did you manage to secure the role?
Yeah, but I haven't started yet. Like I said, been going for interviews. I'll explain to you after, but I'm not started yet. But hopefully, maybe start something soon. But we'll talk off air. Yeah, I'll explain to you off air about that situation. Yeah, but beyond that, Sean. Yeah, I know you've been busy. You've been doing podcasts yourself. You've been doing interviews and stuff like that. And your channel's taking off. Just plug your channel in before we move forward.
Oh, with an equal start.
Yeah,
Equal
Equal
start
Stars, Parent
Instagram.
Dilemma. I know you've been banging out some interviews on YouTube. I've watched a couple of them. So yeah, just plug your channel, and I'll get the link for your channel. I'll put it in the description of this video as well, so people can check you out and stuff.
Yeah, equal start 7. Instagram
So
and
bring it up
Parental
on
Dilemma,
Instagram.
Rumble, YouTube.
I can bring it up on Instagram. Yeah, hold
You
on.
can
Let
see
me
what
see.
episodes, the subjects we copy and we cover in those channels for anyone that's
Right,
interested. Anyway,
just let me just show people what your channel is. Share screen. Where are we? YouTube. Scroll down, YouTube. I'll bring it up shortly. I've got a few technical issues here, so I can't bring it up right now. I've got a few technical. I'll bring it up shortly, so I can show them your Instagram handle. Right, Sean. Let's jump into it. Obviously, it feels like for me, there's 3 weeks of chaos, starting from the Leeds riots, the Roma family, the
mm,
4 or 5 children that got taken away. Then that was followed by the Manchester airport incident, and then that's now being followed by these riots. So, you told me, man, what's your take on all of this, and where do you want to start?
well, the Leeds one. Obviously, that was the first one before all hell broke loose.
Yeah, yeah.
Social services, you know what we think about all that. Social services needs reforming, and we need to have an independent regulator to oversee them because at the moment they're out of hand.
Mm.
And parents that are in conflict or working class or out of work, they're vulnerable to these esoteric social workers supposed to have be impartial and operate on facts and logic and case history that should be making decisions based on that. But you're getting a lot of gender ideology,
How many?
government influence, telling people about taking away the people's children, and as you know, if you keep pushing on people, the pressure will finally give, and you get these kind of up explosions.
Okay, so look, you deal with a lot of obviously, over the years you've dealt with a lot of parents. You've had a lot of interactions with social services. How many cases? Because look, there's always the argument. Obviously, I was talking to Fabian, and what you're saying is, yes, you've got the problem cases that you hear about, but you don't see I don't know, the 50, 60, out of 100 cases, let's say 67, 70 successful cases, you don't see them. Good news doesn't travel fast. You'd only hear about the horror stories. What would you say to that? Like, do you think, what would you say to that? Because there's always that argument in it. Oh, you don't hear about all the
Mm,
success stories and all the good work they're doing. You only hear about the one horror story, not the 99 great stories of protecting children from all sorts of damage. That's ultimately that's what they're there for, to protect children. What do you say to that? Like,
Remember, when Fabian says all that, he's talking from personal experience and as a
mm,
representative of that organization. So obviously, it's
okay,
like institutional workers; they don't want to be seen to criticize where they're making their
I
money.
suppose he can't. Yeah, I suppose he can't
There
really.
you go.
Okay,
There you
look,
go.
okay,
So
look.
they will come with that propaganda, public relations spiel to say, "Oh, in the main, the system works." Maybe it does. I don't have the exact figures on it, but there's too many cases where it's clear cut and
Mm.
children have been forced into adoption or into foster care, or they've been removed without considering the father, which obviously we're big on that. So I said, how can you have a system, especially I'm not talking about ambiguous ones where where you said you're not sure there's not real evidence of abuse or neglect, but when there is, and you're still making them kind of schoolboy errors. It's a disgrace. We pay social workers at the public exchequer for professionalism and going impartially through facts and figures and case history. And they're supposed to be a threshold. That's why they have the 5 basic needs, isn't it? 5 basic
Sean,
needs for the children being provided.
sure. I'm going to bring up a comment that someone's put in the chat. This is the state of Britain right now. Look, this is a comment someone's put in the chat.
No, we're not. You know, if you see me, that you wouldn't be talking like that. You wouldn't be talking like
cowards,
that.
Cowards.
Yeah,
Listen,
you wouldn't, yeah.
Look, I want to say this. Listen,
Mm.
whoever you are, NA, shouldn't you be robbing a Greggs or a shoes on right now or getting your teeth sorted out, bro? Should you, whoever you are, I would say you should be outside of Greggs or a shoe zone, or maybe, like I said, go get your teeth sorted out because you have demonstrated who you are. Low IQ, absolute trash. You know that bottom of the bottom trash. You're not even pawns, bro. You're not even cannon fodder. You're below that. So there you go.
Only a simpleton would do that. You see what I mean?
Yeah, listen, guys. Just to show everyone, look at this, guys. This guy here. Yeah. Look at this, people. This is what we come to. Do you know what I mean? This is what it's about. That's what's going on. This is the state of the country, unfortunately.
No, just tell them. We're born here. We're born here. Yeah, we have more right to be here than Boris Johnson and Winston Churchill. 2 prime ministers born in the USA. I'm born in London, right near Riverton, St. Thomas Hospital. So that simpleton is obviously an ignoramus.
Yeah. Nah, listen, Sean, I just want to bring you on. I just bring you on just to get one over. Right, listen, Sean, before we carry on, I just need to bring this geezer on quickly. He's got a 2-minute message regarding the CMS. I'm going to bring him on. He's going to say his message, and then we'll carry on, yeah?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Right, Sammy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right, Sammy, I can hear you. Yes, you were talking about, you messaged me about the CMS consultation. So, yeah, just give us a little brief on it, what we need to do, and let's just get the message out there, yeah?
Yeah, so so the DWP are at the moment conducting a consultation, well, child maintenance service, conducting a consultation, which initially was due to end on the 30th of July, but has since extended to the 30th of September. So this consultation is our opportunity to engage in our views and concerns regarding the child maintenance service in terms of operational procedures or any experiences that you've had. There is an online form to complete, but that form seems to be more coming from the angle of a victim of domestic abuse. Now, us as fathers, me personally, I have had an experience, or more than one experience with the child maintenance service, victim of post-separation financial abuse. So it's important to highlight the abuses that we, as not just fathers but paying parents, that could go also for mothers as well, being a victim of post-separation abuse, where the receiving parent is or has been using the CMS as a proxy to perpetrate post-separation financial abuse. So this consultation obviously is an opportunity for us to give feedback on your views on how you perceive the service, having used the service. Many people have said, using the, just to get in contact with this child maintenance services takes hours to get in touch with them.
Sammy, quick one. I just want to highlight, correct me if I'm wrong, but this consultation is being put by the DWP CMS because they want to change the law saying that they want to go to not direct pay. They want to be able to take money straight at your account. So it's on the back of that, isn't it? If I'm correct.
Yes.
So just to clarify, CMS want to change where there is a good relationship between, say, both parents, where they're on direct pay, where the father is paying directly to the mother, and CMS make no money out of it. CMS want to change the law so that everyone goes on to, the one where you take money collect and pay. They want to put everyone onto collect and pay so they can take 20% from the father and 4% from the mother. This is all from the children's money ultimately, right? Yeah, that's what they want to do. That's how they make their money. So in order to bring that in, they're using the whole, there are victims of domestic abuse who have to deal with the ex, and they're scared because they have to communicate with him to get this money, blah, 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 blah. We want to put everyone on to collect and pay. But look, there's a consultation. Like I said, what happens with these consultations? The word doesn't get out. No one responds, and before you know it, we're all on collect and pay. So CMS are trying to pull a fast one. So Sammy, just tell us where do we need to go to get on there to highlight our concerns? Is it the DWP website? Where do we need to go?
Yeah. So just a correction, small correction there.
Go
The
on.
collect and pay service that they're proposing everyone onto is where they're going to looking to charge a flat rate of 2% for everyone, right? As opposed to the
Right.
current 20% for the paying parent and
Okay.
then 4% for the receiving parent. They're looking to charge 2% to
2% across the country. Done.
everyone. So anyone, like you're saying, has got a good relationship in terms of payments through direct pay, they're looking to even put them onto collect and pay and charge them 2% as well. So it's a blanket kind of approach to everyone, applied to everyone. There may be the odd number here and there that don't pay child maintenance or avoid paying child maintenance, but they kind of basically swiping everyone with this, which is
Yeah, because
not
they're making
unfair.
money across the board. They can
Yes,
make good money across the board if everyone's on the whole country, hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, fair enough.
yeah,
So we've got till the 30th of September to highlight concerns. Tell us what we need to do, just in brief. Tell us what we need to
yeah.
do. We
So
go onto DWP website and
there
take it
is a
from there.
form. I'll share this in the chat. An
Yeah,
online
go on.
form where you can complete, and that submits your answers anonymously, so you don't need to give your name
Okay.
or any personal details. Alternatively, you can also email your feedback via the email cm.consultation@dwp.gov.uk.
Mhm.
Again, I posted a link there in the private chat. I don't know if you want to share that for with
Yeah, put
everyone.
it in the chat. I'll put it onto the screen. Yeah, put a link in the chat. I'll put it in the screen.
Yeah. I put two links, one for the actual consultation and one the form to complete. And I'll also post the email address if you wish to even.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen. I'll leave it on the screen so people can check that out. I'll leave it on the screen throughout the
Yeah.
stream. So yeah, just put it in the chat. Yeah, I can't see it yet.
Is it in the private chat I'm putting in, or is it in the comments I need to put in?
Yeah, sorry, put it in the comments. My bad. Put it in the comments. Oh, I see it in the chat. Yeah, hold on. I've got it. Private chat. Yeah, do me a favor. Put it in the comments here, please. So I can bring it on the
Sure,
screen now, if you
no
don't mind.
problem.
Sorry about that. Yes, Sean, were you aware of this with the CMS trying to do everyone 2% across the board, collect
No,
and pay?
I wasn't aware of that. The last consultation I saw was last year with obviously the collect and pay. So yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
this
2%.
has been going on for a few months. I've heard about this. I need to get around and actually complete my response to it as well. So yeah, we thought we'd just touch on it because they're trying. That's what I'm saying, Sean. You didn't even hear about it. So this is how they sneak in, innit? No one hears about it.
Mm.
Before you know, guess what? We're all being caught by it. Right, there you go. So Sammy, what do we need to do? We need to go onto this link, yeah?
Yeah, and I'll post the actual form link. The second link is the actual
Link to the form, yeah?
form, yeah, where you can submit your answers basically. Let me just try that again. Actually, it's not allowed me to post it. It keeps on saying it's failed to post the second one. I don't know if you want to try for it. It's on the private chat.
Let's see. Let's see. Let me try.
For some reason, it's not allowing me to.
Okay.
But on the first link that I've put in the comments, in that link, if you scroll, let's say 2/3 of the way down, you'll see a link that says "Respond Online." So that
Okay.
basically redirects you to that to the form. Basically, it's an online Microsoft form.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try it one more time.
Yeah, no, but look, Sammy, we get it. So if you're going even this link here, you
Yeah,
go on there, go into the online form, and you're saying
yeah.
just fill it in and
Yeah,
highlight your concerns. Is it like a tick box thing, or do you have to actually put it in like what
there are
you
some
are? Or
comments. There are some comments you need to put, but like I say, a lot of the questions are coming from the angle of a victim of domestic abuse, right?
okay,
It's done specifically for that, but you don't need to answer it according to what they want. You answer it according to how you feel you found the service.
mm,
You know, And that's how I've answered it, and many others have answered those questions according to how you personally have, experienced the service with the child maintenance, your personal experience, basically. And
Okay,
we need
gotcha.
to. It's so important this because until you've been a victim of the abuse perpetrated by the receiving parent using the CMS as a proxy, you will only realize how stressful that experience is.
Yeah, no,
How you got that
absolutely,
similar experience.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely.
How
So I
long
mean,
is the consultation deadline passed, or is it still live?
It's still live. It's extended to the 30th of September.
20th of September. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have a look.
So let's get that word out there in all four parts of the country, or four corners of the country.
yeah, Sammy, listen, appreciate that. I'll try and push the message out as much as possible. Hopefully, we'll get some more eyes on this and try and get the responses in. Definitely. All
Mm.
right,
All
Cool.
right.
Thank you very much.
Sammy. Thank you very much. We shall speak soon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Right. Yes. Sorry, Sean. I thought I'd just get that in while you dialed in before I
Yeah, cool.
missed him. Right. So going back now, Sean. Obviously, look, the racists have all come out of the woodwork. Like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
prior
I
to
can't
3 weeks.
believe. Can't believe a few months ago we done that first one and we weren't getting
Look,
none of this.
all the
Kind of the
streams.
time.
Oh, listen, I'm just glad he dialed in. So I'm saying, look, whatever your name is, Mr. N, let's call him Mr. N, Nana. I'm glad you dialed in, brother. Keep watching, wherever. We're even taking over YouTube. We everywhere, bro. So yeah, you're right. You should be worried. My point is, you should be worried and you should be scared, bro. Simple. But right, Sean, let's go back now. So look, social services, you're saying that there's one too many cases
Mm-hmm.
of things not going too well. Regardless of all the good work they do, the bottom line is you've come across too many cases. Like I said, you've been dealing with them for a long time. You've come across too many cases where there's a lot of bias and things are not done properly. I know how I've heard too many cases via CAFCAS on how they operate as well. So I'm not necessarily a big fan of them. I try not to be negative, but like I said, we know how CAFCAS roll. We know how they operate in the family court. We've seen the bias with our own eyes. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, and I agree. There is that element there, but you're saying there's no organization that polices them.
No, there is Social Work England polices them, and before that, the Healthcare Practitioners Council. Now they police the local authorities and the individual social workers, and they kind of issue them a license so they can practice. But what I find is a lot of them, when they've been brought into disrepute or they've had serious allegations, complaints against them, what they do, they give them a slap on the wrist and they pay elsewhere, or they come back as a agent staff, and they re-employ these same people, these same devils. So it's ridiculous, and obviously they hide that from the public eye. As much as they say, oh, it works. We only see children when we feel there's been serious neglect or abuse, and we've exhausted all other avenues. But that is not the case. That's just PR spin. It's like politics. So yes, everything was in order. We were growing again. He's got the economy back on track, and then we have this massive inflation, things like that. And then Labour comes and said there's a 20 billion black hole. This is what they do all the time. And because they try to hide the actual numbers, because the complaints are all divvied up by a local authority, they don't really release it to the public, or if they do, they put their website in very small, like the small letters at the bottom of contracts where you can't really see what's going on. And then they put a big PR spin, public relations, and say, look, we're in the main, the system works and we're doing quite well. You're only focusing on the negatives. But it's not. They're not funded properly, to be fair. I have to admit, the social workers are not funded properly. It's a service that is one of the first to get cut. And obviously the circumstances that they have to work under, it's a lot of pressure, and it's a very grim job. That's why I said, you're on a hiding to nothing doing that kind of world. But when it's clear, when you've got, say, for instance, like Longo Morangi, clear incidents of abuse, physical injuries, why is he not being given to the father? They didn't even contact him until he died?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
things like that. It's a
Yeah.
mockery. You're supposed to learn the lessons from Baby P. Have we learned the lessons from Baby P? No. You see what I mean? It's diabolical. Then Arthur Labajano Hughes, Star Hobson, just his cases in the last year.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sean, with those cases, see, the thing with those cases, and like I said, what made me think the father's not even aware, because ultimately, 90% of fathers are the non-resident. These guys were non-resident parents. They have limited power. They've already been beaten by the system. Now, even if say social workers were involved in that case, father is so far down the line, man. He's got no chance. And
Mm,
again, they were linked with the family court. That's the thing. Father's place was decided by the family court and Kafkas
mm,
ultimately. Father was ejected out the family home, he's been removed. So even if social services were involved and there's failings on part of social services in all of those cases,
mm,
it comes back down to the stem of the issue where father has no say, no right. He's a nobody. He's just lucky that he if he's got access, he's just lucky the access he's got. He's at their mercy.
mm. To
He
be
can't.
fair, with my own personal experience of it, once you're committed and obviously you haven't got any sanctions against you or kind of record of convictions of domestic abuse, if you're determined that they will keep in contact with you, even though it only be cursory. Because like with my oldest son, it's only the other day, what, in April, when they last contacted me, and
Mhm,
they contacted me off their own back. But that's because over the years they've seen that I've been checking in and what's happening with him. You know what I mean?
mhm.
What's he been doing? What he's been getting up to? So they are a lot of dads, once they get the bad, family court judgment, a lot of them they're broken or they withdraw.
Mm.
But they remember it's your legal right. You're obliged. If you have parental responsibility, everyone, it's your right to check up on your children and get information in terms of their education and how they're doing health wise. They're not.
Yeah,
But a lot of people they don't invoke that. They just
I
take it
hear
as
you,
oh,
Sean.
what it
But
is.
look, I hear what you're saying, Sean, and yes,
Mm,
I agree to that. But it's difficult, man. When you've been,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
listen.
I know a father, for example, yeah, at his final hearing, do you know what access he got? He's allowed to write one letter to his kids a month. I was around and said, "What's the point, man? Like, other than walk away and okay, you've kept in touch from the background, from a distance, and kept an eye on things, yeah.
Mm,
But you've had to cut those emotional ties yourself. You said it yourself that you've had to say, you know what, you know, that this ain't happening. I'm done. I'm
mm,
out. You've had to do that, innit? You've had to cut those emotional ties. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But
So it's
obviously, that
very
does when
difficult to.
once the child gets to a certain age, though, it does depend on their conscience and character. Because remember, as much as child services thing, um, my son's contacted me numerous times since lockdown about getting back in contact, seeing his brother. So it's not the horror stories. It's not as bad as some of them, but that's because obviously the initial first 10 years I was quite prevalent in his life, so I had that foundation. You see
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And obviously he
yeah.
still interacts with my parents, my brother and
Mm.
sister. So and my niece still sees him. So that's how it's easily to maintain the information on what's going on with him, where others are just totally ostracized.
Yeah, look,
But
I
it's a
can.
case by case thing. It's not all. It's not all. It's not always like that. It's not always like
No,
that.
no, 100%,
Mm,
100%. I'm just saying that. Look, if once you have been, like, for example, okay, I'll give you my example. Then, yeah, we're
mm,
now pushing. What I'm talking like zero contact. You understand? I've got nothing, no phone call, no letter, no nothing. Yeah, zero contact. You could almost argue I don't know what they look like. I might recognize them if I see them, say, because you might recognize what they used to look like. But I ain't seen them in a long time. My case has not even scratched the surface. So by the
mm,
time the court gets their act together, the time I actually get to some reasonable access, we're talking potentially, say, another 2 years. But we're talking 4.5 years. There's almost a point of like, listen, mate, this could be done. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
mm,
There is an element of I'd rather just not know. I've given it my all. I've done my best. What's the point of me? Let's say I hear some horror stories. What's the point of torturing myself by speaking to social services, knowing you are powerless? You do
mm.
anything, you'll just be done for stalking or harassment or something.
Now, to
They
be
might.
fair, through social services, they usually Sister Sally, man, she introduced me to the therapeutic services. So I don't know if they'll do that with children under 10, but when they get to adolescence, they will reach out to you under the positive father engagement
Mhm.
policy and try to reconcile. Yeah, so that is an option as your children get older. You see what I
Yeah,
mean?
look, yeah, little comment for you there, Sean. I thought I'd just bring it up from
Mm,
Vanessa. Yeah, so okay, I understand what you're saying, Sean. I get it, but I can also understand that in some cases, for your own sanity, cut ties, close a chapter, walk away, because there's only so much damage you can take before you are becoming damage yourself to the point where you can't function. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult, bro. It's difficult. But
It
yeah,
is.
you're right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So obviously the situation in Leeds, like I said, 3 weeks ago now. I know it's a bit late. You know, we're talking about it 3 weeks sort of late, but ultimately, you know, children got taken. The Roma community got together, very tight knit community up north, and obviously, you know, they started kicking off ultimately. So that was that situation. I saw that these right wing, not I say right wing, for people like NANA, for racists like this, would have looked at that and they tried to highlight as an Islamophobic, Muslim issue, people up north, all of this and that, cover the backstory and whatnot, just to try and fuel that fire of hate. Still, even that situation where children were taken was used to fuel this, you know, fan the flame of this hate, where like people the likes of Mr. N started robbing Greg's and shoes on. What
Yeah,
do you make?
no, ridiculous. Yeah, no, it's, it's ridiculous. Well, like I said, when you got pressure, poverty, and no representation, you're gonna get things like this. You're gonna. We had it in 2011 with the riot. We'll probably have it again in the future. When there's civil strife,
Mhm.
economic pressure, and then people voice, this is gonna happen. No matter how old or young you are, eventually increased oppression, something will explode.
Not 100% sure, but what I find shocking is you're attacking the people down there with you. You're
Yeah,
attacking the people down there. The problem is, look,
crabs in the barrel, crabs in the barrel. You know how you go.
that's what I'm saying. Crabs in the barrel. People are so thick and stupid right there that I've found. And if you look at the history of the last, just the last 20 years of the foreign engagement in combat by this country, destabilizing all of this and that, and still questioning why there are people fleeing other countries, why they coming here. We don't have money for nurses. We got no money for social services. We got soldiers again. Listen, and these people, all these racists that are on here, are they even are they even aware that 10 men a day post separate 10 white men, the statistics are majority white, 10 men a day post separation unalive themselves, and me and you are here standing up for these men. They got no one. We're standing up for them.
No,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean? The soldiers and the veterans that have been harassed by
Mhm,
CMS that have
mhm,
chosen to
mhm,
end it, we're
mhm.
standing up for them. I'm standing up for my white brothers here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
But
exactly. And
none of these
ungrateful,
people.
ungrateful.
My point is, why aren't these people talking about those poor guys that have got no one post separation,
Mm.
unaliving themselves? They're white English people. Why aren't these people that are out on the streets and you know the racists that we got on this stream here? Why aren't they like getting behind us to help these people? We're here for our white brothers. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, remember, not everyone that smiles with you is your friend, you see what I mean? And
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there, regardless that they're in the same situation as us, they just see us as part of the problem, regardless. It's like remember what I told you, a mental comb over and a bit of delusion, mental health issues. Because it's true, you would think that coming from our background, that we're helping some of these men that probably not seen their children, trying to
yeah,
give them
man.
information, education about what to do in certain circumstances around family courts, child services, these things, and they're insulting us.
But
But
that's what I'm
that's just
saying.
life. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
You're
but
never
look,
going to get away with it or
when you've
from
been
it.
through, when these men look, when you've been through family court here, when you've been through family court, you had dealings, like you said, with social services and these things, your eyes open to a certain reality and the system we live in. To then still say, and I'm just going to do a little act right there, to then still say, Luke, you've lost your own kids, you ain't got access to your own kids. Yeah, there's all the immigrants in there coming in the boats in there, there's all the immigrants in there, all these blacks in
Impotent.
there.
Yeah, you
It's
know.
like, how thick can you be? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I don't get it. After all that, we're with you. We're trying to, you know, expose the system. We're trying to, you know, I mean, the societal breakdown, everyone knows, comes back to the family breakdown. We're trying to protect that. We're trying to protect the men that are not alive with themselves from all communities, right, yeah? The bigger issue here, but like you said, it's when this pressure cooker builds, the people at the top, whoever's controlling all of this, whoever was fanning the flames, I go all the way from Andrew
For a
Tate.
government for 14 years.
Yeah, I know, but it's now boiled over in it, right? Yeah,
Mm.
it's been fanning the flames, constantly labeling immigrants or illegal immigrants, people on the boats associating with certain crimes and sexual crimes, and they're all this. You know, remember back in the day? I remember, was it the 70s where they tried to say the blacks were all rapists. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You know, they tried to label that back then. They're all domestic abusers. They're all rapists. Now, like I said before you came on the stream, to all the single mothers out there who are brown and black now, trying to play Miss Independent. We don't need our baby daddy here. All of this shit. We just need his money. When these people come onto your street, would you rather have your ex still standing at the door? He might be completely useless, but he will happily put himself as a barrier between danger and his children. And no one else is going to do that for your kids at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Brothers, sisters, they got their own kids. They be protecting their own kids first, ultimately. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying people need to wake up here, man.
Well, they're not.
Community need to wake up here, man. This should be an eye-opener.
People love saying about the woke business, but as you can see, a lot of people are not woke. They don't even read. They don't even look into these things. All they're concerned is about, celebrity news, sports, and what's their next, holiday away, and trying to be influencers.
Yeah, sure. I've been on YouTube now. I've been heavily watching a lot of YouTube and social for the last 2-3 weeks. So I've looked at all the WhatsApp message I've got of certain areas and what was going on, right? Yeah, with all the chaos, right? Yeah. Then I stumbled onto that GB news and I thought, what are they really all about? Then I watched how they but listen to me. You know that Talk TV, GB. Yeah. Then I see how they present it, right? You think flipping it. So I'm thinking realistically, it's the attack is from what you can't trust mainstream media. We know this for years. When I say about the mainstream media convinced us that our enemy was in Iraq. You got to understand. So you definitely can't trust the mainstream media. They've been taking us into wars for the last 20, 30 years, for as long as I've known, right? Yeah, they're convinced the country. So look, you can't trust them. We know this. We know the bias report, right? Fair enough. So everyone from all sides is agreed on the fact that you can't trust mainstream media. Everyone's saying it, yeah? Fine. But the fact is, even social media you can't trust, bro. Even like the stuff I see,
you can't. The misinformation is massive.
It's big time. One who controls the information, doesn't matter if it's right, wrong, true, if it's real or not. Whoever controls the information controls the masses. It's as simple as.
It's the way they frame it. It's the way they frame it. Because you've seen it with Talk TV and GB News. What they do?
It's that. Look,
they need some information.
Even look, if Andrew Tate jumps in on the bandwagon, starts coming at the P word, attacking the Pakistanis and the Bangladeshis, and they all come. Even he jumping on that. Then you go.
Hey, how do you feel about that? Because he's a Muslim now.
Bro,
he's a Muslim man. He's talking that madness.
Bro, he's Muslim, but he ain't Pakistani or Bangladeshi, is he? Yeah, look, let me put it this, bro. There's 2 billion Muslims, right? Just because he's one Muslim, like, what is he special? I don't, Yeah, there's a lot of positive messages. Men, masculinity, go train, build yourself up, study, work hard. Great. But look, again, and today, well, you say that, right? Yeah. So the guy who was doing the motivational stuff, yeah, for the last few weeks, he's been coming out with the Pakistani, Bangladeshi, the company's racist jibes, fanning the flame, and then saying the battle's rich versus poor. Bottom line, he's rich, bro. We're down here. So he's gone into the racial jibes. And I saw a video of Tommy Robinson's message today to Piers Morgan. He's talking about going to the gym and going for a walk and building yourself up. I'm thinking, like, what? He's trying to pay them for you now. So I think, look, when they say in the Matrix, bro, they are the Matrix. They are part of the Matrix. We are just the pawns. The people like Greg's, our mate on here, what's his face? NA, this guy here, he's just a pawn. Unfortunately, he just don't know it. Now, you got all these pawns, but all of these people, again, Elon Musk jumping on, trying to write.
That's an odd one. Bro, he's South African, ain't he? He's South African. Oh, so he grew up in apartheid. So
there you go, mate. There you go. That says it all in it right there. I think they're all fanning the flames. And I think when they keep saying we can't trust the mainstream media, I think they're all in on it. They are the Matrix. Bottom line is, they are the Matrix as far as I'm concerned. All of them. Can't trust none of them, really.
No, you can't.
They're taking it in turns to be
our background. They're not from our background. They don't have our profile. So, in the way they see it, they're born to rule the world, and we're the plebs that has to drink the Kool-Aid. That's how it goes.
But the scary thing is, people are drinking it. People are absorbing it. And whatever their system they're saying, the Matrix, whatever Tommy Robinson, all of them, Piers Morgan, they change sides on the day to suit whatever. Yeah, there's bias all around, misinformation, disinformation, and people are acting on it. And the people that put a danger are down here, man, like me and you and our kids and our streets and our mosques and local shops and whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? What are we to do down here?
Yeah, well, to be fair, there's plenty we can do, but it's the lack of unity, as you know. And we're so bogged down in our day-to-day lives, we're going to work, raising the kids, paying bills. The only R&R we get is maybe we get a 2-week vacation, maybe once a year, and a city break, in the autumn, in the winter. And then it's back to the same pattern again, the same cycle. And because of that, we're time poor, a lot of people, unless they got a special interest in it or had a bad experience, they're not going to be really, campaigning, doing this activism thing.
Well, we got another potential, a patriot. Let's call him a patriot. I'll give him the respect. Call him a patriot. Right? He thinks we're scared. What the hell? Do you think we're scared?
Yeah, you can really look,
this never happened.
It's never happened before. And you see this? I'm saying, since Labour's coming to power, it's like it's rampant.
Yeah,
That's the one that someone's putting them up to. Because when we've done lives before, we've never got none of this kind of energy.
Yeah, but listen, so I just want to say to damn Doberman Company, are you going to rob Greg's or Shoe Zone? Is that what it is? Do you have a problem with your teeth? If you've got no teeth, I'll do a collection. We'll get you some teeth as well. What is your issue? Come on the stream. We'll bring you on. Let's have a chat, bro. I got no beef with you, but bring it on. Express your concerns, right?
Remember, eventually I want to do that equal start, boxing show for men and mental health. So they can always do that. We can always do that. Anyone that wants to do that comes in the comments. We can always, for charity, we can have a tear up.
Look, we're going to show the show. We're going to show the world what's going on. Look, there you go. No, that's not. He's not that. He's not that guy. True story. I don't know what he is, but look, true stories. I don't know what he means by that. Back to the same plantation.
That's the same plantation.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on. The struggle is real.
Make it clear. Stop being ambiguous. If you got something to say, you're hiding behind your keyboard, being Twitter fingers. Make yourself plain, because I don't understand what you're saying there, Donovan.
Yeah, I want to know one thing. Why didn't these people come Walthamstow or Croydon the other night? Why didn't they come London? What happened, man? They were meant to apparently come to London. They're giving it all that, but where were they? What happened? No one showed up.
Yeah, I know.
Right, enough of these clowns, Sean. Right, enough of these clowns in the comments. Right, I'm not wasting my time with them. Right, okay, but look, Sean, what is your take on the whole thing? Like generally, let's just move on to the
in terms of the racism and the explosion.
Just say, all of it. What's from the start? What is your take on the whole thing? I mean,
it's the 14 years of the Tory government fanning the flames, and I've noticed we never had a riot since 2011. And as soon as there's a transition of power, have you noticed all the Tories and the right-wing support lobby groups that have been, removed from power and their influence lessened? What they're doing is trying to destabilize things. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Because I said, you've had plenty of opportunity since 13 years ago to voice these concerns in these ways and protest and that, and all of a sudden, it's gone almost to every major city. So I think behind the scenes, someone, like you said, they're fanning the flames and they're talking in these simpletons' ears and they're thinking, yeah, go out there, we can destabilize, this woke government, and Labour's going to increase taxes, and they're going to bring in more immigration, and they think, look, we got to do something about it. And these simpleton people who think they're patriots are saying, yeah, let's go out and smash up our own communities, which was real stupid.
Okay, so you're saying what it sounds like is because Labour won by a landslide win, you think there's powers to be
to destabilize, get the Tories back in first swing.
They won like majority landslide win. I think you're saying that has caused some ripples where powers at whoever's in charge or behind the scenes are now causing problems to try and destabilize the government. I mean, that sounds like quite a logical sort of theory.
Well, the patterns, you should look at the patterns. Why didn't they do this before when the Tories were in power? Within weeks. Remember, Labour's only been in power from 4th of July,
Yeah.
And all this is blown up. Yeah, and obviously mediums like GB News and Talk TV, they've been pumping like, oh, look at the Manchester airport. They're thugs. They attacked the police officer. They punched the female officer, broke her nose, and said, "See, so basically they deserve it." And then obviously they showed that they're Asian and said, "Look where they're from. You see, they're not born here. They're not English. So yeah, let's get them." That seems to be the attitude of these simpletons, not knowing that obviously without us, there's no NHS workers, public services can't run, construction is not being built in terms of homes. You see what I mean? If infrastructure won't run, you won't have your bus driver. That's what I'm saying. In the main, it's ridiculous. And anyone that has half a brain cell will know that from the years that obviously would England import immigrants because a lot of people, native Europeans, don't want to do certain jobs anymore. You see what I mean? So, and they don't want to do it for certain money. So, what do you think is going to happen? We're an aging population. We're becoming geriatric. More people are becoming pensionable age than being born. So, what they're going to need more immigration.
Aging population.
Yeah. If people are not having kids, what do you think they're going to do? They can't have the workforce shrinking because that means the tax receipts will drop. So this is what these plebs, these donuts are coming in there and they're like, oh, well, I'll smash my own country. I'm fed up of these Guptas and blackies coming over here. All this kind of attitudes. But they're not thinking straight. And obviously, whoever's pulling their strings and feeding them this nonsense about there's too much immigration. So how is that possible when immigrants don't make up 10% of the population out of 70 million people from the last census, 2021 census? So how can we be taken over? And then a lot of us would be born here now. We're second and third generation. So when they want us to integrate and assimilate, so when would they accept us after all these decades? Windrush scandal. They didn't like the Eastern Europeans when they come over. They said, yeah, because they work hard. That's why they get them over here. They work hard in construction. They do certain jobs for less money that you won't do. So what do you think is going to happen? Yeah, it's like that's like Spanish people complaining about the lager louts that go to Benidorm and Malia and Iron Up and Ibiza. They said, oh, we're fed up with them. The Canary Islands, they said, we're fed up with them. They don't want to learn Spanish. And they come into our country getting drunk and being promiscuous and making a fool of themselves in the street. This is what a lot of these people that don't travel, that's never not got a passport, never been abroad, they don't realize that. This is why mainland Europe have problems with Brits going abroad, football hooliganism. That's why they want to batter them when they're going out because they're acting up and being stupid. These things when they make analysis.
Okay, but Sean, is there something to be said about there are a lot of genuine people amongst us who just have, because of the way the information has been portrayed by the mainstream media and social media about immigration, they don't tell you, look, we need these people to do cherry picking and the fruit working in the farm. Like, they don't say that. They just say, look, they're all coming over, they're taking hands. And maybe, look, let's say we all maybe have some genuine concern about immigration, yeah? Is there something to be said about that? Some people just have genuine concerns about immigration. The people with half a brain, say, those with a brain, say, for argument's sake. What about them? Like, I mean, they're allowed to have a concern about immigration.
Yeah, of course, everyone's entitled to opinion, freedom of speech. I agree, I get that, but at least question listen to more. I don't come in and talking like I'm an expert, and because I've had what may be a bad experience, and then say, yeah, everyone's like that. When we was at primary school, they used to tell you as a kid, I don't know if you went through this, never judge a book by its cover. Simple things like that. You cannot stereotype because not everyone's going to fit that stereotype. Even though there may be some truth to it, it's not a universal thing. It's not like the sunrise and we have to pay taxes and we drop dead. You see what I mean? And we're born. It's not like that. These things are come with perspective, and then there's underlying reasons why these things go in. Like, for instance, my people from the Caribbean, when we came over in the 50s, we was invited over here because the population is decimated. Not enough workers to rebuild Britain. So that's why we come over. Indians are net contributors to the exchequer. So they don't even take out what they're paying in. So without them, a lot of these services couldn't run, you see what I mean, without foreign investment. You see what I mean? Yeah, so it's odd. I don't understand. And it's not something that's hidden. If you go to NHS hospital, you're seeing, there's most likely then the nurses and the matrons and the midwives are going to be from abroad. So I don't understand how you can have that kind of thing view, even though you may see that on TV and on the internet and things like that. Surely anyone, it's like, what's the national dish? My grandparents used to tell me it's fish and chips. Now I see white Europeans say, no, it's a curry. Vindaloo. Remember that stupid football song, Vindaloo, Vindaloo? They used to do all that. So I said, you're saying that, but then you're saying you don't like Joe Dackis and things like that. And you're calling us black CUNTs. That made no sense. When you want your jerk chicken and your curry, where are you going to? So I mean,
Yeah, but I find it bizarre 2024 that we're still having this sort of conversation. Really, I think we should all be trying to push and progress
Oh,
and
no, you never get
build
rid of it.
society culture. But yeah, man, this is
You
a
never get rid of it. Yeah, but I don't know why people think this is shocking because England is naturally a centre-right country. At the last 50 years, I think Labour's only been in power, what, 15 of them?
Mhm.
Yeah. So they told you when Tories came out of power, you heard what they said, we're the natural party of government. Listen to them. You see what I mean? And when we have people like Boris Johnson partying in lockdown, acting a fool, carrying on, talking about let's get Brexit done, and he increased the Tory vote. You see what I mean? So that tells you what the general public's like, really, over here.
Mhm.
It's just hidden because of this Equality Act of 2010, and they said, oh, truth and rights, and we got to be seen to be fair. But there's a lot of ill will and bad blood under the bridge. Yeah,
Mm.
it's always there. It's just that people hide it better and mask it, especially when it comes to being judged and being labelled a racist, because obviously it's an embarrassing thing, and it can stop them from getting jobs and get criminal convictions for it now. That's
No,
why
that's
you
it.
got people coming out with it more often.
Yeah, but look. I know a lot of work. Worked in the maintenance industry, as you know. There's a lot of white working class people. They're might be educated, but they're not stupid like completely. But when you've been brainwashed by the media over a period, even if a lie that is repeated consistently, you'll
Yeah.
eventually believe it. Yeah. So I think even though they're not going to go and rob Greg's and shoes on, they're not going to do stuff like that. But and I genuinely don't even think that they're innately racist as such. They just because they've been exposed to this certain media over and over again, constantly highlighting only one race when it, like, for example, keep Rotherham, Pakistani Muslim gang, Rotherham. Like I said, the
Mm.
largest gang they've ever arrested. Like I said, unfortunately, they were all white, but no one wants to talk about that. They don't want to look at that. Jimmy Savile,
Remember,
want
with
to talk
all
about
that.
his culture. They only seem to have an issue with crime if it's a black or a brown man or a Muslim
Mm.
man. And it's only a crime, and if the guy doing it, the perpetrator, is non-white, ultimately, they seem to just want to focus on that. I mean, you can't you can't help people like that. They're obviously of a certain intellect. And
Mm.
the working class element, they've always got that element of immigration taking over. People are taking benefits, taxpayers' money. We're working. I can understand that because of what they've been presented, what they've seen, what they've been exposed to. That maybe you could have a conversation with. But like I said, some of these people, what you're saying will never resonate because they'll just change your goalposts.
No,
Yeah, but it's
they're
pointless, man.
stubborn, man.
I think it's
It's
pointless.
like a mental block. You could present them facts and they'll probably tell you, oh, who wrote that or where you getting that from. And that's not what I see day to day. I've seen it. I've gone in there, said, look, here's peer reviewed research. This is the Office of National Statistics. They tell you that. And they're like, nope, nope, nope. So there's some people that's irredeemable. You can present them with the truth and they rather believe what they want to believe. This is how you get with people. This is what I'm saying. As a country, there's a lot of delusions of grandeur, and they rather believe what they want to believe than rather than face up to the truth. I guess that's
Yeah,
how they cope. And obviously,
I
it's
think.
easy then to
Yeah,
blame. Then you've got a scapegoat that you can blame.
I just think, well, what happens is when your own life is so shit, right? Yeah, like I said, I don't know if some of these people are jobs or not, but instead of looking into yourself and sorting your own life out, making better decisions, it's easier to blame anyone. Yeah, easier to blame anyone else. Ultimately, easier to blame other cultures, blame the person on the
Mm.
boat, blame anyone but yourself because your life's shit. Ultimately, and maybe you're just a piece of shit. It's easier to believe everyone else is a piece of shit or put everyone else
Mm.
down and look at yourself. I think maybe there's some of that.
Yeah,
Some
of course. Yeah,
people.
there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that.
Yeah, sad, but okay. So you're not surprised by any of this. I mean, I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
lie.
no,
I was
no,
a
no,
little bit like bloody, but now that I
no,
listen to
no.
your
I was
CV,
never surprised by it. Never. Remember, I
you must
told
have
you.
been a little bit. I mean, you must have been a
Nah,
little bit
nah,
like,
nah.
oh, bloody,
Remember, I
really?
told
Like,
you when we had our first my
yeah.
first kind of interview, and I said that I was running the park near where I live in Wimbledon,
Hmm.
a few years ago, and I was jogging in there, went in the pub, you know, to go to the wash closet, and they were like, when I went in the bathroom now, oh, what you doing in there, Sooty? So I just laughed. I said, you're never gonna get away with it. So when I came out of the cubicle now, I said, what was that? They just put their head down. Yeah, so I said, yeah, look at you. Obviously, I don't want to say what I said, but I said, look, yeah, I said, you don't want none of this. You see what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, you just run up your mouth. But because they're shocked that I came in there you know, just to use the wash closet. They're thinking, oh, what's he don't usually come in? What's he doing coming in there? Because it was that kind of place. And this is in Southwest London, you see what I mean? So you're never gonna get away from so that's what you're talking about. That's what 2009, 2008, and look, so we're not gonna really change that much. Yeah, anytime you see, you know, even people like Boris Johnson said, "Oh, well, let's get Brexit done," and we got to clamp down on immigration, and you got politicians saying that regular, you got GB News saying that, you got people like Nigel Farage saying that. Obviously, the people that like them and follow them thinking, "Yeah, it must be true," and they look like me and they talk like me, so what they're saying must be the truth.
Okay, but they're saying it because that's that red meat, that immigration red meat, is what wins votes ultimately. So
Yeah, well, it's
they're
true.
playing onto
How they got Brexit done,
people's
ain't it?
no, but they're playing onto people's coarse beliefs of, look, he's different, he's dangerous, he's out for you and your children and our culture. They just keep throwing that red meat out to suck. Look, it's the primal nature, it's the most primal instinct that they're appeasing to on a subconscious level. I don't think most people have the ability to fight that because it's on a subconscious level, isn't it? The seeders
No,
in his
it's
heart.
not. Look, see, for instance, this Tommy Robinson business, yeah.
Mhm.
I used to campaign with two people that I used to interact with in regular. One time he done an interview with Sarah Garvey just before the lockdown. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
he come in there and said, "Oh, look, Sean, I used to have Asian and black friends in Luton. Some of them are still my good friends now." I said, "Yeah, I can understand that. So that doesn't mean you're not prejudiced, though." I said, "Look at the people you look at the organisations you set up, English Defence League, and what they mostly like." I said, and obviously I've seen the videos when they're coming out, you know, coming with all the expletives and, you know, the racist tonage and language. I said, look, and then you're saying that there's too many foreigners over here. Now I said, I agree, there are grooming gangs. Yeah. So they said, oh, look, why don't you come up to Manchester? This is 2020, you know. Come up, where they attacked that black fella in Piccadilly Gardens 4 years ago. I was there protesting with some of these Union Jack waving in the army about, you know, basically closet nonsense in the army and how they wanted to change things. So I said, yeah, Sean, we like all this father stuff you're doing. Come and thing, and we'll give you some support, and you'll have people behind you. When we finished doing that, they said, oh, Sean, would like to go up and speak? He said, I said, no. I said, there's one mixed race person, one Asian person. I'm the only black person. Why would I do that? He said, yeah, but you was on Hearts of Oaks. I said, yeah, because I like the fact that you're campaigning for kids and wanting to get fathers in, but you're not going to get me out there and as a token blackie to go on there and be saying stuff like that when I've got Asian friends. I said, if you're going to talk about grooming gangs, what about the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church? Huh? Who's bigger at grooming and nonsense than them? Think about it. There's a whole host of scandal molestation. What about the care homes around the local authorities that they suppressed for years that we only found out was going in the 80s rampant? Even in football, like football coaching. Said, what color are those men? And they're like, oh, why would you? I said, yeah, you have to. So when you're saying this, you cannot say it's predominant. So maybe in those areas where they captured in Rotherham and Rochdale and Calais and Bristol, I said, maybe so. But I said, on the whole, it's not a thing based on ethnicity. This goes across all the ethnicities.
Exactly, but if you have to explain that to someone this day and age, you know, it's sort of worrying the level of IQ, of the people we're dealing with here.
Some of them were like officers in the army. Some of them are dabbling in politics. Some of them have got links to reform and the Tories. And I think, wait a minute. So how can you think like that? There's one para that used to fight the IRA that I used to talk in our little WhatsApp group, and we used to have meetings like what we're doing now with you. I said, how can you think? He said, Sean, look, you got to understand, you're so right in terms of, you know, fathers' rights and men need to have a better say and have more agency in society. But then you get it wrong with the race thing. I said, how am I getting it wrong? What are you talking about? I said, because of that agreement on that topic and maybe fathers and men's rights, doesn't mean I'm going to think against the board. Then he used to complain about BLM and the family forever from Brixton and things like that. I said, yeah, what's wrong with that? You've got national pride in terms of your army and EDL, yeah? So I said, you're going to have black nationalists. You're going to have Asian nationalists. What's wrong with that? Oh, because that's segregation and that will lead to trouble, Sean, and there's less of you, so you lose a fight. You lose a war. This is what he's telling me blatantly. This is something I used to talk for about a year and a half. We used to talk nearly every week.
Flipping that,
man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You didn't think. So I don't know I don't know if you saw. You remember the real McCoy Grunt, the black fella that used to have the red hair.
I think so. No, I don't think I have. I've seen none of that.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is he?
So basically, he must have thought because of that alliance over the fathers and men's rights thing. He must have thought, oh, basically, I'm black on the outside, white on the inside. So I probably thought, yeah, we can get in with that, and then he'll fall in line, and then he can be the token one when we go out to thing and say, look, we're not
Token black
racist.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, so you get that, and it's unbelievable. He was, and there was a few of them. They even had mixed race people in the group that was telling me, Sean, what's wrong with you? Police are not racist. Have you ever thought maybe that they only took a camera shot? There's a fella that he was at the petrol station, and the police tased him in front of the pumps in front of his 3-year-old son. I said, there's no excuse for that. He did not swear at them. He did not attack them. They gave him instruction. He didn't listen. He said he's not doing that, and then he just started to tase him. So I said, you don't think his color played a part in that? No, you can't say that. This is what I'm saying. The mental comb-overs and the myopia that's what they're doing.
So
And
would
this
you
is
say?
what we should talk, because they said, oh, come in this group and maybe we can find a common ground and we can stop this kind of prejudice if we just see ourselves as one nation and one Britain. I said, yeah, but you say that, but then you got some of these odious ideology that if you were saying that was me, you'd be saying, oh, it's reverse racism and that, oh, what are you, a gangbanger from South London? So that is madness. Yeah, so
So
that's why you can't be
okay.
surprised by these kind of.
Okay, look, you're right. There is an element. You're right. I'm surprised that I'm not, and I think yes. If people, everyone should have a right to free speech, and if they've got an issue with immigration, I'd say even if you've got an issue with other races, come out and protest peacefully. Palestinians protest for months and months and months. No issues, no violence, no desecration of any sites or cemeteries or stuff. Nothing. Respectfully, go out, free speech, make a point. I get you. I feel your pain. Not an issue. All good. Yeah. But where they're headed towards that element of threat and violence and all this smashing the place up and all of that, like I said, were you surprised by that element of it, or you're saying you can see that
No,
coming?
that doesn't surprise me.
That'll follow once this sort of thing follows. That sort of chaos and carnage will ultimately follow. Manchester. Yeah, I saw the video of that black guy getting jumped, unfortunately, in Manchester. The other guy, I don't know where he was, where they tried to charge at him. Luckily, another black guy they tried to charge at. Asian man getting pulled out of the cab and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Now, I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to see Asian, black, white, whatever. Anyone getting pulled or treated like that. There's no need for it ultimately. But where do you see this headed? Like, do you see this now saying, right, it's boiled over? It'll flatten out, they're gone, they'll go back into hiding for a while, or do you think it'll just now escalate and get worse?
No, to be fair, I reckon from what I've seen growing up, I reckon every 10 to 15 years, you're going to have the element having that outburst, especially when there's economic strife. I just expect that, to be fair. And have you noticed it's cyclical? You have these things going along every so often cropping up, the same old thing. Same with the Tories. The reason why they try to focus on the immigration thing because they know they're failing economically.
They were hoping that would win votes. They were hoping to clinch it back with the immigration part. Simple. Yeah.
It's a deflecting tactic. Said we're struggling with the economy. People got less money in the pockets because of inflation. It don't look like we're going to make it to the next government. So I said, what we can do, national service, immigration, and we'll start some foreign wars. Maggie Thatcher used to do it when I was a kid. The Falklands. Ireland, that basically supposed to be for Argentinian. They're fighting over it. They said we got British settlers there, and they see themselves as British, not Argentinian, and they're warring about it. And then that got her up in the polls. Remember, that made her popular. So that's what I seen governments do all the time. Same with Labour when Tony Blair was in power. He's gone to war with Iraq after he used to be shaking hands with Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, and within a couple of years now they're the weapons of mass destruction and the enemy of progress.
This was saying British taxpayers' money. Look, I just want to say to all of them who's in the comments, yes, I understand you hate black people and Asian people and Muslims and we're all criminals and nonsense, whatever. Put that aside for 1 second. You ain't got a house, you ain't got money. British people are saying they ain't got houses, but they've got enough money to sponsor and send soldiers, your sons and daughters from this country to other countries, unfortunately, to unalive themselves in foreign wars and nothing to do with England. And one thing I'll give Trump, as he said, I got no business anywhere else. Our people ain't going there. And you can say what you want, his rhetoric is bad, but he didn't invade no one. His
Yeah,
actions.
it's true. He hasn't invaded no one.
That's the bottom line. I've got people saying to me,
President Obama.
you know, I say, look, Trump hates Muslims. Tell me one president that actually likes Muslims, bro. They all hate. Get past
You
the
say all
basic.
that. You say all that.
You know, but this is what I'm saying. Look, I said to people, when did you think, for example, that all the others were apparently such good friends with me? When did you decide that? I don't get it. I said, the guy can say what he wants. His actions. The bottom line is, he's still lesser of the evil. He's the least worst. And the bottom line is, he didn't invade no country. It's as simple as his action. I say, you got to look at the bigger picture. He didn't invade no countries. He said, I'll keep it about America, all of this, America first. Great message. No problem. I get it. He did not invade anywhere else. Why is American taxpayer dollars going here, there, and everywhere? That's my point. So I'd say to the people here that have got beef, I got no beef with you. I sympathize with you. It's all the racists out there, all those that hate Muslims and blacks and all that. I sympathize with you, man. We ain't your enemy, man. We're here standing up for what. If you've been to family court, you know what true evil is. True segregation, down to its core, or the genders. The bias against men, separating children from their fathers. That is the true evil. That is what breaks societies, and that is what leads communities to break down. That's where you're losing your children, man. So I say, open your eyes, yeah, cut all this hate out. And those that reckon the war is coming, bro, listen, man, we're Muslims. Sean's from South London. We ain't scared, man. What the hell, man? We were born ready. So all of those that think that we're scared, listen, motherfuckers, I'm telling all of you out there, yeah. Motherfuckers, I'm Muslim, number one, yeah. We were born ready. We ain't scared of death. Sean's from fucking deep south, yeah. He ain't scared of no one, right? So whenever it happens, whatever is people saying in here, October, something, bring it, motherfuckers. We were ready last October. We were ready 20 years October. We were ready. We were born ready. So just a nice guy. Don't assume we're scared or we're gonna run or whatever, yeah. Bring it, yeah. So whoever that is out there, want to spread hate, yeah. We ain't scared, bro. We ain't pussies. Just remember that, yeah. We're not like you. We ain't cowards. We don't hide behind the wings. We're out here helping people. We're trying to support fathers of all backgrounds and races. And I support many of those poor white fathers that are unaliving themselves. We are here to support them, and we will continue to support them. And there's someone in here, again, look, 40 years of children, Rotherham was seen as a threat to British values. Listen, man, you need to open your eyes. I say to all of those people, don't get caught in, you're just being used and abused by the people of power. The people that are creating these messages, they're just using you. They don't care. When you're in jail and when you're being done for robbing Greggs or shooting, they don't care about you, bro. They're laughing at you.
You're just a statistic. Yeah, that's right. Just remember that.
They're just statistics, man.
Person don't care about you. Know there's Nigel Farage. You're not lining their pockets or
they're rich.
Their agenda. They have no interest in you apart from using you as a pawn.
Listen, as much as I like Trump, yeah, there's one message someone said to me, right, yeah, about Trump, yeah. Look, I'm not saying I like him or dislike him. I'm saying he's not as bad as people make out compared to others. He ain't going to war.
Remember what I told you a few years ago when someone showed me when I said, look, said that we can't have Trump in power. Obama's a serious president. I'm so proud of it. And they said, Sean, look at his foreign policy. This is one of my American friends.
People just
assume more people than the Bushes put together.
It's not that. Yeah, they just saw a black guy in power, so they assumed he broke. No one's your life. Number one, I say to everyone, is your life should not be in the hand of any president, regardless of what color it is. Yeah? You're in charge of your life. You need to take relevant action in your own life to improve it and move it forward for the better. Yeah. Do not rely on I would say anyone. Not Trump, no Bush, no Obama, no Farage, no Tommy, no Tate, no one, bro. You are ultimately responsible for yourself. Yeah. You need to take the action to sort your life out. Stop relying on these people. They don't care about any of us, right? Yeah. Number two, with the whole people just assume because he was a black man in power that ultimately you just assume you represent something. You're proud that someone can make it that far.
No, never represented us. I'll tell you that.
He has to follow. He has to toe the line. Now, as far as Trump is, what he says, yes, it's controversial. The guy's a showman, good, bad, the ugly. As long as he ain't invading and destabilizing other countries, man, that's good enough for me. That's my point. He ain't perfect, fine, but he ain't destabilizing other countries. That's a big sign for me. That's good enough for me. Do you know what I mean? No one's going to be there. Look, there's no one.
It's more the misogyny with Trump, as you know. It's more the misogyny, and obviously the way he spoke about Mexicans, about building the wall and getting them out. And
he banned Muslims. Listen, you can say that he banned Muslims legitly, but I'm still saying, listen, regardless of that, and he hates Muslims, all of that. How many countries? look at the bigger picture here. Do you know what I'm saying? I should have the biggest gripe ultimately and say, well, guess what? You know, he banned Muslims and that, and the whole
You see, when you said that, when he didn't he only ban Muslims from like Iran? It's only certain countries. There's certain countries that's on the list.
Yeah,
can
well,
get
look,
with them.
whichever countries.
And there's loads of Muslims in America, so you can never ban them, really.
The bigger issue is, though, look, I'm saying to you on a global scale, you got to get past the domestic. I'm saying you ain't go around destabilizing countries. You see what I'm saying? Compared to the last, I don't know, at least minimum 15 years of what we've seen in destabilization in the Middle East, right? Yeah, you could go all the way back to Iraq. One, if you want to go all the way from back there to Iraq, to Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, all of that now. Yeah, my point is, when he came in power, it all stopped. He pulled out of Afghanistan. Remember that as well. So he said,
"Why the costs would be?
Why is American tax dollar paying for this crap?" That's what you're saying, and that's
right.
the bottom line. So I say to these people here who are looking at me and you and saying, who are these two black guys here doing all of this? I'm saying to you, you need to look at the bigger picture. These people that are telling you all of this, inciting all of this, labeling as the other as criminals. Like I said, I say to all of these people, why are you talking about Jimmy Savile then, man? You gave him a platform.
No.
One of yours, man. He was a national hero. Why are you talking about him?
Yeah, Jeremy Epstein, Lucy
exactly.
Letty. Yeah.
The celebrity. You know what I'm saying? What about the recent newspaper reporter? He was white as anything, bro. He was white as daylight.
Hugh Edwards. I know all them years I was watching Hugh Edwards.
Why are these people talking about him? Now, my point is, I just see, when I see these people, I see what you see. That's it, a criminal. Let's just label it as a criminal, yeah? Whatever you want to call it, you know, abuse, child abuse, whatever, yeah? He's a criminal of one sort or the other. The fact that he was white never came into it. I don't understand why, but my point is, the people that are being fed this propaganda, that the brownies are like this, and the blacks are like this, and they're immigrants, and they're all rapists and molesters, and all of this, they're using you. They're playing into your fears, and they are using you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying to all the haters out there, to all of those that hate the blacks and whites, the blacks and the Asians and Muslims, whatever. I'm just saying to you, open your eyes, look at the bigger picture. You were just a pawn in this game, just like me and Sean. We're just being used as pawns. Yeah, we got to pull together to battle the bigger issue of bad government. Is to cover up bad government. They tell you, don't look at us, blame him, blame that geezer there or that community. As simple as, you know.
And every generation, they be able to seem to pull off the same trick. It's serious.
It's shocking.
That's what, especially when we're in an age of instant information on the internet and things like that. And you can buy books from Amazon. You don't have to go to a library anymore or a bookshop. It's odd, but
but the same information is being peddled on social media now. That's my point. It's just another outlet for more disinformation, isn't it? Or misinformation. It's just another outlet. And I think if you choose to watch, what you focus on is what you'll see. You will watch things that will watch things that aligns with your. There's very few people that can truly sit back and reflect and think, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel like that about these people or those people? Do you see what I'm saying? It's very few.
But you have to have a natural inclination, inquisitiveness to want to find that out. A lot of people, there's too much work involved in doing that, especially when they're struggling in day-to-day life. So they rather just take the snippets and the little, shorts and think, yeah, that's the way the world is.
Okay, so Sean, look, you're not surprised, yeah? Fair enough, right? Yeah, actually, you ain't surprised by it, and I think your theory of Labour landslide win recently, and then Keir Starmer finds himself in this mess. It looks like I could see where you're going. I could sort of almost think, yeah, you know what? That sounds legit. Like they're trying to destabilize him, cause chaos, make him look bad. Landslide win. They didn't want that. But so you're not surprised.
Keir Starmer's saying to them though, because look how he treated Diane Abbott. You see what I mean? Yeah, he's mistreated Diane Abbott, suspended her from the whip. And then do you see that Prime Minister's questions where she stood up, what was it, like 30, 40 times? And she wasn't allowed to speak. That's why I can't believe she's still a Labour member. I don't understand that. It's odd. Yeah, you get all that. He's told about how he's going to reduce immigration as well, that they're not going to reverse Brexit. So you see, he's trying, what Bill Clinton used to call it, triangulation. So he's trying to get as much of people from the centre ground, from people slightly right, people slightly left, so he can get the majority to fulfill his ambitions of power and influence. Yeah, so certain times he's playing that violin. You see what I mean?
Okay, but look,
Israel knowing that Israel have a lot of problems with Muslims in that area of the world, but he won't come out and openly condemn it. You see, because he's trying to, balance off both people in order to not be ostracized, so he can have the majority. That's how he's basically doing a Blair.
Look, as you know, Sean, I'm not that politically inclined. Really, I very rarely even am that interested in politics. It's just what's happened recently. I've had to focus a bit more on it. So let me ask you: you're not surprised, but are you saddened like a little bit, or are you thinking, yeah, it is what it is?
Nah, to be fair, I've become a bit cynical because I've seen it for so many years now. I've become a bit cynical. I just kind of expect it, especially when there's when it comes to scapegoating and when we're struggling economically. Yeah, you got these things that flare up. They do, and it's human nature to want to find a scapegoat rather than look within.
Yeah, I think that's the key in it. Okay, like look, everyone in the chat, if you don't know me, this channel, we don't normally talk politics on this level. I'm not that politically involved or engaged. This channel is mostly for non-resident parents who are fathers who are going through the family court system, fighting to see their children, and unless you've been through a family court system, you don't know how difficult it is for fathers to have contact with their children. So this channel more so normally highlights the troubles fathers have within the system. And if anyone in the chat, like I said, whether you're a meathead or not, if you are having issues with the family court, reach out to me. I'll help you, advise you best I can, try and support you. And just so all of those out there, those so-called patriots who think they are standing up for Britain, I just want you to know, from the white communities, white English communities, 10 men a day, post-separation, unalive themselves. Why aren't you standing up for them? If you're true patriots, why are you not standing up for your white brothers who are, like I said, post-separation, 10 men a day, and 3 additional deaths caused by the CMS, mostly in English communities because they've got no one, Why aren't you standing up for them, and why aren't you even aware of them? If you are true patriots, you will stand up against and bring shine light to the plight of fathers in the family court system. That's what this channel is normally dedicated to. There's a lot of content on here about that. So all of those in the chat, all of those haters, all of those who think we are black X, Y, and Z, no biggie, man. It's all good. This channel normally is to spread awareness around the family court system. Sean, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, going forward, as a people, we need to come together, as you know, Farook. United, we're strong. Individually, we're weak. And government has a big part to play in these social problems that we have. And anyone that watches it and has any interest or inclination to educate yourself, go and find out what's going on. Look at government policies, look at their manifestos, and they'll tell you exactly. They're hiding in plain sight. The Labour and Tory and Liberal Democrat Green Party manifestos is there for anyone to read and see. And we have a deficit in the country. We just come out of a pandemic, and people in the elites are getting richer on the sweat and toil of our labor. And if you can't understand that, then there's something wrong with you. You need therapy and you need help. And like I said, if anyone wants to see me on the street that, is prejudice or thing, we can always have a good old blighty tear up and see what happens.
Yes, we are not advocating any violence. We do not advocate violence on this channel, but I just want to say to those who think that, bro, like I said, Muslim, many years, strong from South London, we were all ready, we're always ready. We ain't scared of no one, bro. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, for those who think we're shaking in our boots, that's not the case. We're just nice people, but we ain't scared of shit. Let's just get that very clear, yeah. Sean, I think we should leave it there. I think we covered quite a bit. I think you've opened my eyes quite a bit. It's given me a lot to think about. We need to touch base again soon, I think.
Yeah, definitely, of course.
Touch base again soon. And, okay, yeah, good. Shout me up in a few weeks. We'll hit it again.
All right.
Like I said, I've been a bit slack for a few weeks, but you've motivated me to get back online. So yes, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Sean, thank you for coming.
Yeah, that's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. We will speak soon. Thank you all for joining, even the haters. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you all. Thank you. Peace out. Disqualified Dads.